Andrew McCART, IFL TV in association with MTK Global. I've got to say I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Ben Davison himself. Ben, I don't normally get to interview you, so it's a pleasure to finally get to chat to you. We're here in MTK Bubble. How are you and Lee finding, obviously Shabazz as well, how's the team finding it here?
Yeah, we're all good, thank you. Fight day now, so all the preparation's done. Well, most of it. Preparation doesn't stop until the first bell sounds, but yeah, almost there now. Thank God after all the setbacks.
Let's talk about the setbacks then, because as a coach, how do you keep your fighter motivated, especially a young fighter like Lee McGREGOR, who's only 23 years old? How do you keep him, because we can see like maybe the maturity levels might not be there, but how do you keep a young fighter like Lee motivated and keep his head screwed on to say, listen, the fight's going to happen, just relax? How do you manage a fighter like that?
Yeah, it's very difficult, and I think each scenario, and because each time the fight was getting cancelled, the fighter could be in a different headspace, so you have to bear that in mind. And how long, obviously it determines how long the setback is, if there's a new date. If there's not a new date, when there wasn't a new date, he'd go back up the road and have a little break and see his family or whatnot. But of course, you know, Lee's massive for the weight, so obviously you have to be smart about that as well. So it's been tough. I'm sure it's been tough for Kareem as well, because he's slightly older and big for the weight as well. So it would have been tough for both fellas. So it just shows their professionalism to be able to finally get it now.
Lee's obviously, this is his 10th fight, British Commonwealth champion. He's fighting for the European title. This is your first big fight with Lee, a big major title and stuff like that. We've seen you and with Tyson Fury. This is nothing new to you, but it's something new to Lee. So how is Lee's mentality this week in fight week?
Yeah, he's very mature, Lee. He's a mature, composed lad. He's a young lad, but got ahead of a maturity levels of a veteran, and I think that should show out tonight. Well, hopefully that's the plan for that to show out tonight. I've been very impressed with him, and he'll go about his business as though it's any other fight.
What can we expect on tonight then? In the fight, can we expect a dominant performance from Lee? Because I've spoke to him last night. I spoke to him a few times on the phone and stuff like that. He's absolutely loving life. This is not to blow your own trumpet here, Ben, but he's loving life with you. He's got nothing but good things to say about you and stuff like that. And he says you're probably, in a few fights' time with Josh and whatever, you could be the best coach in Britain. And now that's probably put pressure on you a little bit when you hear a young fighter say that. But he's got nothing good to say about you. So what kind of fight can we expect tonight?
Yeah, no, and I appreciate those kind words from Lee, but he's there over there. But it's the fighters that do it. Do you know what I mean? I always say to the lads, like, they're the ones with the tools. It's just we may sharpen their tools and tell them what tools are needed for each job, because each job's different. It's like any other craftsman, I suppose. And I think tomorrow Kareem is an experienced character. I think he'll look to start fast, because I think Lee's quite inexperienced, and try to put it on Lee and sort of put Lee in his place, so to speak. So I think there'll be some moments early on which will be tough for both men, but I think Lee will then gradually start to take over as the fight goes on. And like I say, I believe that he'll look like the veteran in there tomorrow. Tonight, sorry. But I do think that Kareem will have some moments. He's a 33-fight veteran, and any fight that he's been in, and even in his losses against world-class operators, he's been in the fight. So, you know, I believe that he'll have some moments as well, but I believe that Lee will come across as the more experienced, mature veteran and be the better prepared.
We've seen Josh Taylor become world champion in his 16 fights, albeit a little bit older than Lee. But Lee, if he becomes European champion, how far is he be from that world title shot?
I think he's now sitting on the fringe of world level, and that should play out tonight. And then it's, I suppose, with the win tomorrow, they've both got a good ranking with the IBF. They should both, potentially Lee's next fight could be an eliminator or a final eliminator for that. So, but we'll take each step as it comes.
Okay, quick word on Shabazz Masood as well. I mean, another young fighter who's a classy operator, says nothing but good things about you, Ben. He's on a good opponent tonight, but he's knocking on the door for that British level as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's at that level, and I wouldn't be afraid to not rush him, but move him quickly. He's a very skilled, good IQ, physically maturing. I think that showed when he stepped on the scales yesterday. And mentally he'll be maturing, fight by fight. But Also, with someone like Shabazz, I think it's important with any young fighter, to be honest. It's when you talk about their development, you don't want to work on a certain area of their game and then get an opponent where you need a whole other set of tools than what you've been working on. The development and what he's working on in the gym needs to go hand in hand with the opponent. Shabazz has been out for a long time, so the Louis Norman fight was the only option that we had, so we had to do that one. And I think he's been in with some good names, Louis Norman. Hopefully Shabazz can get a few rounds in tomorrow. And then it'll be a case of, okay, let's have a look and hopefully move him on. But I expect him to be winning, some serious titles by the end of this year.
Josh Taylor's going to come here tonight to support his pal Lee, who's shadowboxing over there. A quick word on Josh. I know you probably spoke to him about when this fight was announced and stuff like that, but it's 2 weeks since that announcement, and I know Josh's mentality. I know what that man's like in the gym. You've took him on the pads. He smothered you and probably hit you with a few shots as well. So, talk to me about Josh and this unification fight against Ramirez. He's obviously confident. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, very confident. I think it's one of them fights where if Josh goes about it in the right way, I do believe, and this isn't underestimating Jose Ramirez, because I think he's a real top quality fighter, and I think that his mindset, physical attributes, and his will to win pose enough problems to cause anybody a fight anyway. If Josh goes about the fight in the right way, I believe that it's a real oh my god type moment for Josh, especially on the big American stage. If he goes back another way, it's a tough fight, a really tough fight, but one that I still believe that Josh will come through. So it boils down to Josh's preparation and how he goes about the fight. But confident, not overconfident, and preparing and happy with preparation. He's committed himself early, working hard in the gym, making the right investments in his preparation, making sure he's got everything and some of what he needs to make sure that he can be the best he can on May 22nd.
Going to you then, Ben, because I'm intrigued by it, because you're not even 30 yet, I don't think, are you? No, 28, you're not even 30 yet. You've got all these young fighters that say good things about you. You're getting all these praises from everyone. You've got great hair as well. So how do you stay grounded?
I've got the McDonald's sign coming with the hairline.
Ben, look at me.
And a bald patch coming.
That's why I stay off camera. You're not seeing my hair. So how do you stay grounded and stuff? How do you take all these praises and everything on the chin and get these fighters like world champions and stuff like that, say all these nice things? How do you stay grounded and just because you're just a humble guy, but how do you do it?
I'm realistic. Do you know what it is? Like, obviously at the minute the lads are flying and everybody's doing well and the whole squad's doing well. But realistically, at some point there will be a loss, unfortunately. And I'm aware of that, and I'm realistic. So I fully understand the minute there's praises, and when that loss comes around, I'll probably be criticised. But I'm fully aware of that. I take it as it is. All we can all do is our best, and that's what I do. I do my best to try and explain to the lads and coach the lads and teach the lads and get them the best prepared that they can be, and if it in some areas help them outside of boxing, and just do the best that I can be. But and it's a passion of mine, do you know what I mean? I enjoy what I do. It's the same as you enjoy what you do, do you know what I mean? So I don't get the whole coach's prima donna type thing as well. Do you know what I mean? It's about the fighters, and they're the ones that get in there and do it. And if you wanted to be the one in the limelight, you should have done the fighting.
There you go. That's a great way. That's a great way to put it. Now I'm going to talk about you again. You've probably spoke to him about this, but I kind of want to get your thoughts. Two of your mates and two of the people that you have trained before, and Billy Joe Saunders and Tyson Fury. Hopefully Tyson Fury. Eddie Hearn said it, but we'll talk about that first. Then Tyson Fury and Joshua. Eddie Hearn said it's signed. When you heard Eddie Hearn said it was signed, were you as happy, or were you like a step back and just wait, it's not quite signed yet? What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's one thing signing a fight, it's one thing this is when it's going to happen, we don't know what they've signed, but what have they signed? No date, no venue, so there's no difference, at the minute. But it's fantastic that it's moving in the right direction, of course. Fantastic for boxing, and fantastic for both fighters, and fantastic for everybody.
Billy Joe Saunders in against probably the pound for pound number one in Canelo, right? I've been lucky enough to spend the two fights in Texas and Miami there, and when watching him up close, I'm like, wow, the guy is just phenomenal. Little subtle head movements, he doesn't show you much, stays in the pocket but you can't touch him. But you know Billy very, very well. You've trained him in numerous fights as well. Has Billy got a chance? Do you give Billy a chance to get somebody like Canelo? Because again, 30-0, Billy, he's undefeated, he's not tasted defeat, he's a world champion, two-weight world champion, southpaw. We know he's had problems with southpaw, Canelo and Lara. How big a chance do you give Billy?
Yeah, Billy Joe has the capabilities to win that fight. Both fighters have the capabilities to win that fight, and it goes back to being realistic again. You know, if I was to sit here and go Billy Joe 100%, it's like, well, what's the point in listening to Ben's opinion on that fight? 'Cause he's just talking nonsense. Both fighters have the capability to win that fight. I think it's who's better prepared going into that fight, and who's more aware of each other's skill set, and what each other are trying to do, what their opponent is trying to do. The better prepared will win that fight, in my opinion. But does Billy Joe have a chance to win that fight? Without a shadow of a doubt, he does.
That's just good news. I'm looking forward to it. I'm guessing you're... I was going to ask this as well, like, you hold the British champion in the bantamweight division, you hold it in the featherweight division. Shabazz is a super bantamweight. I should have asked this earlier, but I was thinking that, what would it mean to you to have bantamweight, super bantamweight, featherweight British champion, maybe hopefully this year?
Yeah, it'd be great. That would be great. Obviously, I don't hold them; the lads hold them. Do you know what I mean? But it'd be great for the gym and great for everybody else in the gym as well. And of course, great for them to then move on to the next stage. So, yeah, it's exciting times. And like I say, the gym's flying, and God willing, everybody's victorious tonight.
How are you coping with the? I know you said some Scottish slang words with me earlier, but how are you coping with Lee and the Kens and the Hingleys and stuff like that? How are you finding all that down in the gym?
I'm learning the lingo.
Give me a bit of Scottish accent. Then.
What have we got? I can't do the accent, but I've got to go down to the gym in a minute. You can.
That's Josh.
And the Hingway.
The Hingway.
What else does he say? He says a couple of others. Josh is what? I don't know who's worse actually. Josh probably speaks a bit quicker than Lee.
Josh is a nightmare when he comes with the Kens and the likes. I like Ken.
Nah, it's good. They're good lads. And it's enjoyable, and everybody supports each other, pushes each other. And not only are they in the gym together, they live in the house together. So they're all helping each other, pushing each other, watching over each other. So it's. I mean, this week, obviously, we've had to be focused on Lee. Like I said, he's had the fight pushed back 4 weeks. So all the focus has been on Lee with his weight and everything like that. And Lee Wood's quite clued up with his nutrition. He's done Shabazz's nutrition.
Lee Wood has?
Lee Wood has.
Oh, fair play.
And done a fantastic job, and he looked amazing on the scales. So, you know, they all work together, and it's a fantastic atmosphere.
I think we can see that on Instagram and all the Twitter and stuff like that. We can see that the gym is happy, and we can see that all the fighters are bouncing off each other, which is good to see. But finally, Ben, because I know you want to go down and do a little bit of training with Lee, and I'm keeping your time here, so I do apologise. But one final word on why people should tune in to Lee McGregor's European title fight against Gurfrey tonight on IFL TV.
1, it's going to be a fantastic fight. 2, Lee's a great lad, deserves all the support that he can get. And 3, he's going to move on to bigger and better things. So yeah, definitely tune in tonight.
I totally agree. Ben, as always, it's a pleasure to finally speak to you. I think I've only done maybe 2 or 3 interviews with you, so it's good. Yeah, I think so. I like maybe 2 or 3 or maybe aye, so it's not too many. I think Uma likes Ben Davison. That's the problem. Right, Ben, thank you so much for doing this for IFL TV, and good luck tonight.
Thank you. Thanks, mate.
Thank you, Ben.